Hi, everybody. 2 content warnings this week. First of all, the Monkees may be a children's show from the 60s, and the Monkees pod is not a children's show from 2026. Although I don't know if the Monkees is a children's show this week either, because in this episode we are going to be touching very lightly and not in any graphic sort of way on mental health, self-harm, and suicide. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't believe it either. Enjoy the episode. Hello, and welcome back to the Monkees Pod, a Monkees recap podcast. My name is Sommer.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm Molly.
Today we have Season 1, Episode 28, Monkees on the Line. This is my favorite Season 1 episode.
Okay.
I think it's the best episode in Season 1, and that has to do very much with a young man named Coleslaw Johnson. Okay, so Coleslaw Johnson is what I call Monkees writer Coleslaw Johnson, because his name is spelled in such a way that it looks like somebody like Micky-ified the word coleslaw.
Okay.
So, and I just think it's funny, a man named Coleslaw Johnson. But he's a good writer with some great episodes, including this one, which was co-written by Gerald and Dee as well as Coleslaw. But as we've seen, Gerald and Dee are hacks, and Coleslaw is responsible for all of the magic, as well as Mike. Mike is responsible for a lot of the magic in this one as well. And I was so excited to have finally reached a Coleslaw episode that I wanted to do some historical background about him. But the man does not have a Wikipedia page. He just has a list of IMDb credits, and I hadn't really heard of any of them. Okay. So I was like, oh, that's not even fun. Okay. So I pivoted, and we're just going to kind of talk about the background of mental health and women's mental health in America in the mid-20th century, because unfortunately that is relevant to this episode in a crazy way. So my kind of general perception of mental health in the 60s come from 2 things: the Asylum from Girl Interrupted and early 70s musicals where they're like, I gotta see my shrink. Even my shrink has a shrink. We all have shrinks. And both of these things did exist in the 60s because it was a transition point from institutionalization and asylums to community care and living in the community and having and getting treatment during your life and going to therapy and getting medication and not just being institutionalized. But the institutions still did exist. They were being shut down, and when they were shut down, a lot of people got left homeless by that. They didn't think of an alternative. They're just we can't have this cruel asylum anymore. Even, have you ever watched AHS Asylum, the American Horror Story?
No.
It's the only season of AHS I've seen. But that takes place in the 60s because it kind of was the point at which the public was these are kind of cruel institutions, and became aware of what was going on in there. Another thing that happened in mental health care in the 60s was primarily prior to that, the main diagnosed mental illness was anxiety, but then depression diagnosis really went up during this time. I'm not sure if it's how they reclassified it or whatever, or if people were just more depressed, but it started to be more of a thing. And women's mental health in particular, there was an interesting thing in the 60s, which was that the typical 60s housewife, you think about her and she's popping pills.
Yeah. I was going to say that the big change is that they had medications, and now they could throw medications at them, and so they were diagnosing them. And,
they would they were oh, you're depressed because you hate your suburban life and you're stuck inside all the time and you don't talk to anyone but your kids and your husband hits you. Have some tranquilizers. Yes. Don't go to therapy. Don't get out of your relationship. Don't try to have tranquilizers. The Rolling Stones have a song called Mother's Little Helper, which was a reference to benzos, which is what they were giving these mothers. Yeah, and I think it's funny when right-wing propaganda tries to be feminists tried to convince you that this was not empowering, that this was oppressive, and they'll show a picture of a mom with a baby in the 50s, and you're well, how much benzos is she on right now exactly? But like women's mental health in particular has always been like stigmatized as like hysteria, you know? And like even in olden days, if you were rich enough, you could just escape it by being like over medicated with sedatives. If you were poorer than that, they would throw you in the asylum from Girl Interrupted.
What's hysteria? Where's the word hysteria come from? It's hysteric. It's women.
Right, yeah. It's like some type of uterus word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Women's troubles. I think it's funny because in both my two media examples, in both Girl Interrupted and AHS, they have an asylum patient that's just a woman that's too horny. They're like, oh, the nymphomaniac. We have locked her away for the good of society. Like some of the patients, and you see this too in like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where like you can have someone who's like voluntarily committed because they're like concerned about their own mental health, next to like actually like super high support needs, like out of control people who like really do would benefit from institutionalization, and you just have them in the same like room and they're like, watch them fight, let's go. Oh, you paged the orderly with a cigarette, oh boy, time to sneak more benzos at night. Seemed pretty lax, but there was a piece of legislation called the 1963 Community Mental Health Centers Act that kind of started shifting away from the like institutionalizing approach and more into the community stuff. And when I say shrink in particular, I feel like that's such a 70s thing to be like, oh, my shrink.
Because they didn't call them therapists.
Yeah.
Well, there were psychiatrists.
Yeah.
It was, it was mostly you went to the psychiatrist. There wasn't, therapy wasn't as, therapy was like a secondary thing you would be getting from psychiatrists. They weren't just that, well, they were, but for the most part, it wasn't just therapists.
But like, shrink is short for head shrinker, right? What does that mean?
That means that he's like going to come and analyze your brain.
Your head's so big it needs to be
shrink. No, it just means he's going to be.
I guess I'm struggling with the shrinking part because that implies getting small to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's, I don't know, just one of those things I just never thought about, I guess. What it sounds to me is like those tribes.
When they like do like when they do like, or like skull binding, so you have a long head. Yeah. Well, that is not what head shrinking was. A little more specifically relevant to this episode, I was like, when was like a crisis hotline invented? And I looked it up, and specifically relevant to this episode, the Los Angeles Suicide Prevention Center was founded in 1958 and was the first in the country to provide a 24-hour suicide prevention crisis line and use community volunteers in providing hotline service. So for almost 10 years at this point, there had been a crisis hotline established in Los Angeles. And I would just like us all to remember that as we enter this episode, because it sure is relevant.
Yes.
Okay, this one was directed by James Frawley, writers Gerald D. and Coleslaw. It was broadcast on March 27th, 1967, and it was filmed February 1st to 2nd. It was the last episode completed for season 1.
Okay.
Other than Monkees on Tour, I'm guessing, because Monkees on Tour, like, their hair is all much longer, and they're on tour, so I'm guessing it was the last regular episode. Yes, and then it says, following a trip to England to promote the show's UK debut and the month-long recording of the third LP Headquarters, the band would resume filming April 5th. During that break, they all had Headquarters beards, which is, I think you can see on the back here. Oh no, they made sure to pick. Yeah, they picked pictures where they don't have Headquarters beards. Maybe I'll put some up because they're luxuriant. Start of the episode, Monkees are busy.
And Mike's in his blue hat.
Yay! Micky is typing. Peter is helping.
Holding the typewriter.
And like shaking with it because he likes to pretend to be a piece of it.
And I said, I don't know what Davy's playing with.
I think it's a cowbell, I think. It looks like a cheese grater kind of.
I don't know what he was.
I'm going to guess it's some sort of percussion instrument.
And I wrote, Mr. Schneider looks legless. I didn't realize that he doesn't have limbs.
They don't stuff his legs.
Okay.
They don't stuff his limbs normally.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of just leave him torso. Presumably so he can't, like, grab anything or walk away while they're not in the room. Mike's digging in the fridge, presumably for some sweet milk. The iconic fit that Mike wears in this episode. Blue hat, blue paisley shirt with white collar, black and blue gingham pants, long ass hair. The phone in the pad phone, their red phone rings, and Mike tells someone to get it, but no one does.
Right.
Since answering machines don't exist, this means they will never know who that call was or what it was about. It could be someone calling with a job. I doubt it, but
did you go on an audition? No.
You know how people just call bands and offer them jobs? Maybe they have flyers around town with their number.
Maybe.
So Mike calls a meeting about the issue that nobody answers the phone, much like me.
Yes.
Yeah. And,
we've had this discussion before that you don't,
And he keeps chopping off parts of their table with his mallet.
Yeah. They use a mallet in, like, every episode. They use a mallet.
They really do love that mallet.
This is a different mallet than normal, because their normal mallet is yellow and this one's just wood.
They have, like, maybe three different mallets, but for some reason, a mallet is used, like, pretty much every episode.
Because it's easy to make a bit out
of. Just bonk.
The head,
bonk.
crack a table in half.
Although that didn't make sense, because why does he keep chopping the table?
I don't know. Also,
when in all the shots when he's holding it, his fucked up finger is really visible, and I'm like, you smashed your finger with a rock when you were 10. So Mike suggests that the Monkees should get an answering service, which, had that been said in just passing, I would be like, Mom, what's an answering service? But the plot of this episode kind of explains it pretty good. Like, I think I get it. I think this episode is a good primer on the concept of an answering service for people who don't know what it is. So I'm sure we will understand by the end. So then Mike calls the answering service to request of their services, and they don't pick up.
They don't answer the phone.
But in the time that it takes them to not pick up, Mike does, like, some really shitty improv. He's like, you call the answering service and they'll pick up any time of day, morning, noon, and night. They're always there to pick. And I'm like, shut up. So then theme song, and then it cuts to the answering service office,
right,
which, despite the fact that they demonstrably do not provide their service effectively, the Monkees still want their business.
Right.
But also they can't afford it. Yeah. I think they're just stupid and they're so lazy and they'll never answer their own phone.
Well, like, why not just stay home?
Why not just it's not like you have a job to get to. Where are you?
The Monkees were employed. What would this show be about?
Right. Can't pick up their own phone because they're too busy. They're too busy monkeying around.
So the answering service is, what you would do is, if you were a very important person and you needed to get all your phone calls and you weren't going to be around, the call, I don't know how it would work if you would give them the answering service number.
No. The phone rings, ding-a-ling-a-ling. You've got the phone. My understanding is that, like,
you saw the switchboard, though. Yeah. You saw the connection.
They connect to your number, and when your number is called, it just rings at the answering service office.
That's what I think it is. And so then that they would answer the phone, and then you call in for your messages.
Yeah.
And, like, doctors would have an answering service, or, if you're an important person, an answering
service. So a
service.
shitty teen band should not be getting one because this is an expense the business expense they can't afford.
No.
The woman who works at this answering service office is amazing, and I want to be her on Monkees Snatch Game, which is
Monkey Snatch Game.
Who would you be on Monkees Snatch Game?
On Monkey Snatch Game.
Yeah, like, what's a good, like, minor monkey character?
I think I would have fun portraying what's her name, Toby.
Her
her bad acting, I think, could make
her cue card reading. Yeah.
I want to be the one woman who is doing the parkour around the office.
Oh yeah, the girl from Dance Monkey Dance with the gold lame.
Yes.
So this woman, I named her Belinda because I think her name is. They say it a couple times. Her name in the credits is Dreidel.
What kind of name is that?
Dreidel. Drehdal. Is this anti-Semitism again?
Dreidel.
Is her name Dreidel?
It's not a name I have ever heard.
I've never heard that.
Let's call her Belinda, as I named her. So they're like, Belinda, once we get a job, we'll pay you the full amount. But can we have, like, a cut rate for now? like that was gonna work. And she's like, what? You boys want a job? Why didn't you say so? You're hired at the answering service. And they're like, we can't. We're musicians. You guys have the ability to make money in other ways. It's okay. Like, you're allowed to do that, and you, in fact, do it every week. So the answering service company logo is an ear with a foot with weirdly long toenails coming out of it.
Only 3 toes.
Like, the ear I understand, because, like, phone call. Why is there a foot?
Well, because you're on the run. You're out and about.
Because the ear comes to you.
Why was there only 3 toes on it?
Why were the toenails so long? Who drew this?
Who drew this?
Who did this? Belinda uses high-pressure sales tactics, which is that she gets in a Shadow Realm, like, Statue of Liberty costume to get the boys to agree to work there by telling them it's like, this is very, like, noble work. You're, like, connecting the whole city, and the city will be in your fingers. She says, they keep saying the phrase, the city will be in your fingers. They love fingers on the show. It's weird. It's weird.
Dial with your fingers.
Oh, okay. They also keep saying, like, they vaguely referring to this city without saying LA.
Yeah.
They don't like to do that.
Okay, she offers them a salary and free service. I said, take the crappy job, boys.
They don't want to take it because they're full-time musicians.
Yeah, but nothing to do with this because they're musicians who don't have any money. And I said, take the crappy job, boys.
You need money. Then you can, like, whatever.
I said, she's overly dramatic, Shadow Realmy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what she was supposed to be, but she was so good. She made the boys cry and agree to take the job.
said Statue of Liberty. What it is there is a Greek statue behind her, and she has like drapey like robes, and she's holding a telephone on a stick.
It was some Greek reference, but I think
she's just supposed to look like a statue of justice or something.
I didn't know what it was.
I don't know. But her little performance is so convincing that the Monkees cry, and Peter says, I don't want to be a murderer. What are you talking about? What on earth are you talking about? Did the script say something else there and then we like fixed it in editing? I don't know. Belinda points to a big sign on the wall and that says, don't get involved with the clients. That's rule 1 here.
And the Monkees, they love to get involved.
They love to get involved
with the clients.
And there's a red button on the wall.
Yeah. The Monkees all want to be the one who works the first shift. And Mike gets it by cheating at choosing fingers. He's like, let's vote. And then he cheats immediately. And this is the first of a number of quotes that I wrote down verbatim for this episode because there's so many good line reads. Most of them are Mike. He goes, oh, I won. I won. That means I got the city in my fingertips. Like, and he keeps making this stupid face that he makes where he sticks his tongue out and he's like he does it like 6 times. I always use this emoji to represent when he does it because he does it a lot. You'll notice it a lot. He's always done it a lot, but now they're like letting him do it on camera and keeping it prominently in the edit. But I have like pictures of him when he's like 75 years old doing it. That's like his like
his still signature move.
The reason that this is the best season 1 episode to me is Mike's performance. He's so good. I saw Monkees on the Line, and Mike Nesmith, who played Monkey, he gave everything. He gave everything. Like before the rest of the Monkees leave, Davy has a little like point in his bang, like his bang has a point, like Dracula. Didn't brush it to the side. So the rest of the Monkees leave. Mike skips over to the phone bank, and then Belinda reveals that she is going to Jamaica now that she has 4 untrained employees. Much like that one roommate I had who abandoned me to house sit her house for her for 3 months and then kicked me out when she was back from vacation. And I hated her. So, Belinda, screw you. She picks up her straw hat and surfboard to indicate that she's going to Jamaica where you surf.
Where you bring your surfboard.
Yeah. And then when she starts doing this, Mike jumps and screams, wait a minute, hold on! Like a Muppet. and he's like, you didn't train me for my job. And we have another quote from her directly. She's like her squishing her hat into the surfboard, like walking out holding this heavy ass surfboard, and she goes, why nothing could be easier? The phone rings, ding-a-ling-a-ling, you plug it in the hole, you answer it, you write down the message when the client calls in, you give him the message. What could be easier? You know what? I appreciate that because now I understand what an answering service is and how it works. Thank you, Belinda.
So before she leaves, there is a red button on the wall that says red button, and it's a red button.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "What's this doing?" She said, "Push it if you get tired." So his quote there is, "Monkeys are notoriously curious." So
I'll just push it now. And he says that direct to camera after she's gone.
Yeah.
And then
a bed pops out.
A bed comes out of the wall, and he goes, "Holy missus, there's a bed in the wall!" Which, to be fair, is a correct reaction to that. The wall bed is such a weird detail of this episode. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's also
not like, what's it called?
It's not like a Murphy bed. It doesn't fold down.
It like the wall opens and the bed emerges.
It like slides out on a low level. What it reminds me of, and what might be an explanation for it, is the Beatles' weird house in Help. Like the with all their weird different beetle beds where they all sleep in a special beetle bed.
Just reminds me of every gymnasium I was ever in as a kid or in a school, that underneath the stage, the doors would open and you would pull out all the chairs, the folding chairs on something.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah. So the bed is there because, like, in case they get tired.
Well, because it's 24-hour service.
Okay.
There's somebody, but if they're sleeping, how are they supposed to answer the phone? Right. I don't know.
Also, the bed, like, if you fall on it, it shuts itself back in the wall.
And you have to lay flat or you're going to get decapitated.
And also, there's no way to activate it from inside of it. So it's kind of
trapped in there.
It's a death trap. It's a weird death trap. Mike is immediately overwhelmed by all the phones ringing at his shift at work, and he can't tell which one is ringing. So he finally finds which one is ringing and plugs it in. And a queen appears. This is Ellen Farnsby, the best monkey girl of all time, because she is a psychopath, and the premise of her arc is like the weirdest thing possible. And as a character, she makes no sense. But like, she's so good. I love her. I'm sorry. She's stressing Mike out for no reason. So what she says to him, she's like, "I had to speak to someone. I just can't go on. I'm gonna end it all." Imagine if this happened on Big Time Rush. Like, it zooms out and it's a shot of her in, like, in her apartment surrounded by like poison and pill bottles and like nooses and guns.
Like giant bottles that say poison with skull and crossbones.
Like, skulls, nooses, guns, knives. Mike is not appropriately alarmed at first. He keeps trying to like take another call. To be fair, he did not sign up to work at the suicide hotline. But then this made me Google when the suicide hotline was invented, because, and then I'm like, okay, it's been around for 10 years. Why are you doing this to your answering service? That's not what they're here for. They're not trained for this. Hello? I don't know. Like, weird thing to do, weird thing to put in a children's show episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is the premise of this episode.
Are watching this.
Yeah. This is about, the love interest, or is she? The female lead of this episode is suicidal, and that's her trait. And that's really crazy. Yeah, so like Mike's taking another call for a second, and then she goes, "Where'd you go? Hello?" in like a really modern cadence, and I thought it was great.
But like, he would pick up the phone, she'd be on that phone. Yeah. I was like, I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. She goes, "I'm gonna end it all, and don't try and stop me." And then Mike goes, "No, don't do it, don't do it. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Don't do it." Mike in the stupid blue hat saying "don't do it," it gives like the end of Love Never Dies, when the Phantom of the Opera negotiates a hostage crisis, and he goes, "Give me the gun, Meg. Give me the gun," said the Phantom of the Opera. "Don't do it," said Mike the monkey. What am I watching? Then she hangs up, and Mike looks mildly worried. But then it fades to him, like, hatless, laying down on the table, eyes closed, and like muttering, "Don't do it," as if it was supposed to be like he passed out from stress in the last scene. Maybe he just fell asleep.
Just got tired.
But if that was the case, he should have used the bed in the wall. The other monkeys
show up in their Chateron doctor costumes.
Yeah, they're doctors standing over Mike, and they're like, "There's only one way to revive him." So they spray him in the face with a seltzer bottle to wake him up. The result of which is a close-up of liquid being sprayed on Mike's face. Again, I'm sure we all know the essence, if not the substance, of the joke my comedy instincts are telling me to make here, but I will not subject Mother to that at this time. Here's my question, though. Do they, like, have spray seltzer bottles like that anymore?
I don't know.
What was the purpose of the spray function?
Well, it was like a seltzer. It was like that was what was putting that. It's coming out like that because that's where the gas is being added to the.
Oh,
Seltzer is gassed water.
Right.
yeah.
So that's where the gas is being added to the water is on its way out through the nozzle.
Okay.
That's very strange.
That's why. I believe
so there was
that's
no
how
way
it
to
functioned.
serve it without spraying it.
Well,
everywhere?
no, it was. I mean, that was the comedy use of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just would spray it in a glass.
Okay. Anyway, after he gets squirted in the face, Mike sits up, fully awake, with his muppety hair, and he goes, "Urgent answering service, don't do it." His beautiful, long, womanly hair and long, womanly thighs. He looks like Amelie with giant sideburns, and his bob bounces like a Muppet when he runs without the hat on. He looks amazing. So in order to save Ellen, Mike looks up her address, which is 4554 Blip Street.
Blip Street.
Sure, Blip Street.
You just made a name up. You don't want to call a wellness check into her. You don't want to send the cops. You want you yourself, a strange man.
He's just going to show up
to go to her house, and that will make her feel safe.
I said his hat is fallen off when he was laying down.
Yeah, so his hat's off the table. And Peter and Davy are like, Mike, you're not supposed to get involved with the clients. Like, that's the issue here.
And so Micky's going to go with him.
Yeah. Davy's hair is so thumb. Mike is like, come on, it's a matter of life and death. But then he forgot his hat, so he goes, hat, please. And then someone tosses the hat from off camera, and Mickey's like, where'd you get that hat? And he's like, I'm from the wardrobe. So they leave to run to Ellen's house. And Davy and Peter left to work at the answering service. They run around fast motion, tangling the phone cords. And then Peter collapses into Davy's shoulder romantically in exhaustion. Davy finds a message, a written note
that they must have written in their frenzy.
Yeah, it's labeled urgent. So he decides to also take it to the person's address. Why is that their solution? If any business whatsoever showed up to my home unrequested, I would move.
Yeah, they're supposed to call in for these messages. I don't know.
Don't go to his house, Jesus. Davy then reads the message
to Mr. Smith.
Yeah, Mr. Smith, a man in a wife beater in an apartment hallway
with shaving cream on his face. Okay, here's another example of me going, where did this cop come from?
Well, no, that's true. When they introduce this character, he's in a wife beater and
he has shaving cream on his face.
And then he later puts a cop uniform on off screen, but you don't know who he is because he's just a random old white man.
So it's somebody running around in a cop, and I'm like, oh, a cop has shown up. A gorilla showed up. A cop showed up.
Yeah. The gorilla being there
he's not really a real character. He's on screen for about 20 seconds.
Yeah, right.
So.
It's important that he was a cop for the plot, but he should have been wearing something coppy when he was shaving because it was too confusing for us.
It was too confusing that he had no cops.
Anyway, Davy reads his urgent message, which says, call Zelda, baby, love, 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 urgent. But then his wife walks out. Wah, wah. And then the wife starts beating on him, the turntables. So then he chases Davy through the hall, and she chases him into a room where he becomes a cop. So there's 3 apartments. So here we are again, running in and out of doorways. Yeah. It's a romp, but are they singing? No, they're just running.
They're just running.
And there's a gorilla there.
Okay, I've written it down. I've written down all the chase scenes.
Thank you.
Okay. She starts beating him. Mr. Smith chases Davy down the hall into another apartment. Then some woman runs out in a towel out of the apartment.
Sexy shower girl.
Being chased by Davy,
who is being
chased by the woman with the rolling pin, the wife with the rolling pin, chased by a cop. Where did this cop come from?
You have face blindness. You have face blindness just like
the villains. Where's Mr. Smith?
Where's this cop? Where's Mr. Smith? What could have happened to Mr. Smith?
Okay,
wherever could he be?
I got home from New Orleans yesterday, and I was literally nodding off while I was watching this because I was so tired. So perhaps that's it. But I literally wrote, "Who's this cop? Where's Mr. Smith?" That's bad.
Mike and Micky enter Ellen's empty, unlocked apartment and they just like start playing with all her suicide tools. Like they're like, oh, it's good she has a hobby, and they're like playing with her knives. Her hobby is suicide.
They start looking for her like behind a picture under some flowers.
Are they looking for a body?
But they
lift up the magazines on the table. Maybe she's under there. And then they determine via her date book that she's at the theater today. And then we see why she's like this.
Right.
At the theater, Ellen is rehearsing in a play where she's suicidal on the phone.
Yes.
So she reveals that she's doing method acting rehearsal with her answering service. Why wouldn't you do it with the real crisis hotline?
Well, that would be using a crisis hotline.
Worse. Well, why did you call someone
why
at all?
Why
just pretend and not put someone through this trauma?
It's method acting. You gotta hurt those around you. You gotta harass those around you.
Fully method. I said I can't tell if this is more offensive to mentally ill people or to actors.
As someone who's both, Ellen is kind of my queen, and I kind of love her.
Well, I'm going to go off on her hair though.
Oh yeah, her hair piece.
Her bangs are like this mousy brown, like nothingness, and then she's got this red, like long
chestnutty. Her hair piece does not match her hair.
No, it doesn't. And I'm like, what is going on? She's definitely got.
What's going on is that every girl on this show has a half wig. Because that's just how they did hair quickly in the 60s. Yes. Yeah, the director is like, you're so good, queen. And she's like, thanks, I've been harassing a random man at my answering service. The way that even if you were like genuinely in mental crisis, that wouldn't be an okay thing to do, to put this on your answering service when there is a real crisis hotline available. But she's just doing it for method acting. Right.
It was bad.
It cuts back to the service office where Peter is alone answering the phones. And there's this like shot of him answering the phone where like Peter is a really underrated comedic actor, I think, because in this scene you can literally see like the single brain cell bouncing around in his eyes, like the Windows logo. Like he looks so stupid. It's like he's like, hi, but welcome to we are the answering fingers in the city. Like he's just like with this like blank look in his eyes. The call is from a theatrical booking agent who wants to book a gig for the Popsicles, which pays $10,000. But this is actually a clever cover for his horse racing operation in ways that I kind of understand but don't fully. And his assistant they have this really, really naturalistic exchange where his assistant is like, gee, boss, you're a genius for figuring out this scheme, placing bets through an answering service without them knowing it. That's right, Arnold. All I do is pretend the horses are vocal groups. What the crazy name groups have these days, no one would ever expect. Why are you explaining your operation to each other who are both currently working at it?
Yeah, so they're calling in the bet, and then the answering service calls the bookie.
Okay. They can't just call the bookie directly?
Well, that way they don't get caught.
Okay. All right. Sure. So Peter takes that call. I wonder if he'll mess up. Mike and Micky go to the theater where the director is standing there reciting like Ellen's lines from the play to himself, and Mike has to yell at him to get his attention. Okay. They're like, where is Ellen? Where'd she go? How was she acting? And he's like, she just departed for her apartment. She was acting depressed and like she wanted to end it all. Good. He says that. They think this girl is genuinely suicidal, so this guy just must be a psychopath to them. They're like, we have to go back to her apartment to save her. But Micky's like, but wait, I gotta relieve Peter at the answering service. I don't think that's the priority right now, guys. Like, I think a woman's life is more important. But also, Micky, as far as you know, Davy is also still there to help Peter.
That's what I'm thinking. They don't know that Peter's alone.
Yeah, they don't. Maybe they have, like, some instincts about it, because then they, like, it cuts to a shot of Peter getting trapped in the wall bed. And maybe they received that vision through the shadow realm.
They probably just know that Peter's causing trouble regardless.
Yeah.
I said they imagine correctly that he's gotten swallowed up by the wall bed.
But then later they don't know where he is and don't think to check the wall bed, so I don't think they received that vision. They just received a general vibe of him getting into trouble. Do you want to update us on the
So back to the hallway, because we're still running around. Davy is being chased by an Olympic torchbearer, runs by, followed by the cop, a football player, the woman with the rolling pin, Davy, towel girl, gorilla.
The gorilla is just holding 2 bananas.
Gorilla brandishing a banana. Davy comes out with the towel and the torch.
Implying what exactly? What happened there? He was like,
how did you get the towel and the torch?
Yeah, not only did he do something that resulted in him wearing the girl's towel, the Olympic guy was also there and involved in that situation. So I hope you had fun, Davy. Okay. And then it cuts back to Ellen's apartment for the best scene in season 1. And I have like just half the lines of it written. I know Coleslaw wrote this scene. I know Mike improv'd a lot of it. Thank you, boys, for this amazing scene. So Mike comes up to Ellen's door by himself. She's wearing her noose as a necklace. And she greets him, Jeffrey. This implies that she was expecting a gentleman caller without knowing what he would look like. Did she, like, call an escort? Welcome to my suicide house, Jeffrey.
I thought she was still being method, and Jeffrey was the character.
I thought Jeffrey was the character she's supposed to be talking to on the phone.
So she's so method that she's not concerned by this man.
Yeah, that a random man, she's like, great, oh, my scene partner's here, not a random man. Mike's like, hi, I'm from the answering service. Is your phone broken? And she goes, my phone's all right. There's never any messages for me. No one cares if I live or die. Mike and this girl have good chemistry in the sense that they like work well together comedically. Like she really has him stressing in this scene. He's stressed. She has him running around. And Mike's like, wait, no, I have tons of messages for you. And he starts pulling them from between his shirt buttons.
He holds all his stuff in his shirt.
Mike, I know you're skinny and you don't fit in your shirts, but the extra room in there isn't supposed to be for storage. But he has all these papers in his shirt, and the first one is a grocery list. But the second one is a message for Ellen that says, Dear Ellen, we need you, we love you. The city wants you. Don't be depressed. Don't be unhappy. The way I've listened to that clip as a mental health calming tool. The city needs you.
The city needs you. Don't be depressed. Don't be unhappy.
The city, no, we need you. We love you. The city wants you. Don't be depressed. Don't be unhappy. So then Ellen tries to jump out the window. Like, she's psychotic. Why is she doing this to Mike? Why is she torturing this man she doesn't know? And he goes, no, wait a minute. We don't want any condors flying in here. Well, what are they? Well, this is a California state bird, you know. Woo-hoo, bah! Mike's condor noise. He goes, woo-hoo, bah, and then he sticks his tongue out. Woo-hoo, bah. Then she tries to stab herself. He takes the knife from her. She's like, give me the knife. And he goes, no, I need it. And she's like, what for? I want to use it on the condors. And she's like, what? And she's like, these condors, you know, a big bird and a big beak. And then Mike chases the suicidal woman around her apartment in circles. With like, with a noose on her neck. The scene is amazing.
I love how children would really get a lot out of this.
They really would. Woohoo, bah. Condors. So then the phone rings. Ellen answers it and she's like, oh, it's for you. How they knew he was still there. I guess Micky would know that he had gone back there. But Davy and Micky are at the answering service. They're like, Peter's missing. So I guess they didn't see him get trapped in the bed. Yeah. And while Mike's talking to them on the phone, Ellen's like trying to hang herself in the background. She's like jumping the end of the noose onto the fan. Imagine if they did this on Big Time Rush. and then she says to Mike, for my last wish, will you help me? And Mike goes, oh, sure. You're just going to tie this to the chandelier, and then you're going to stand on that chair, and then you're going to kick the chair out from under you. Mike, no! Mike, what do you have?
Assisted suicide.
This is so fucking bad. What is that? Who thought this was a good idea for this episode?
I was like, not only was I really tired, I was like, okay, how long is this going to go on? Like this.
The suicide bit.
The suicide bit. I don't know.
But Mike goes, come on, Ellen, let's talk about this. And then he grabs her by the noose and yanks her off screen. I'm sure we all know the essence, if not the substance of the joke my comedy instincts are telling me to make here, but I will not subject my brother to that at this time. Micky and Davy are bad at finding Peter. Because they
don't know about the
they
wall.
don't know about the bed and the wall. Eventually they press the button and the bed slides out. And luckily Peter's been knocked out the whole time, so he didn't have to experience the claustrophobia of being trapped in the wall bed.
He wakes up even more confused than normal.
I think he might have had trauma, because that's the only thing that's going to knock you out for that long.
He probably sat up and like bonked his head inside the wall.
Yeah. But it's so funny because whenever they show him like sliding back in or out of the bed, it's the same shot of him like passed out laying on the bed, and he just looks so funny. And Davy's like genuinely concerned. He's like, is he alive? And Micky's like, was he ever? He didn't give a fuck. But once Peter wakes up fully, he goes into phone answering position and says, urgent answering service, who's calling? And then they accidentally press the button again and put Peter back in the wall and start calling his name because they're infants with no object permanence.
I don't know where he went. We're back to the apartment. They're running around in the apartment again. Mike's talking to Farnsby, and he says the whole world is running around in circles. Back to the apartments. Davy's in the football uniform with the cop hat, being chased by the lady with the torch, by someone with the gorilla head and a safari outfit on, by a torchbearer carrying a rifle, by a lady in the towel, by a gorilla with a human head wearing a safari hat, by a cop with the safari helmet.
So they've all traded clothes by this point.
So whatever happened when Davy went in the room and got the towel and torch, they continued that activity and continued
and now
to
it's
all
completely
clothes.
So then I have Barnsby's hamming it up. And then the betting gangsters holding guns on Micky, Peter, and Davy.
No, it goes from like Mike comforting Ellen to hard, and he's like, promise me you won't do anything till tomorrow. And she's like, I promise. Like she's in the Monkeyverse, she is an actress acting, so it makes sense why she's talking like that, but I feel like Mike should be able to pick up on it. But yeah, the horse guys have the Monkees at gunpoint, and the guy's like, I need my 10K that was supposed to be placed on that horse. And Davy somehow already understands the scheme that is at play here, despite the fact that it's very confusing. And he's like, I see what you're doing here. And then the guy goes, he is another bright boy. This place is full of bright boys. And Peter goes, thank you.
He says, let's talk turkey. So they all gobble.
Thanks, guys. And Micky says, what's the beef? Didn't the message get delivered? The beef.
What is the beef?
The beef. The guy is like, the bet was switched to Pelican and Popsicle won. And then Orange Farquaad, which is what Davy is called in this scene, he says, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in me life. Like, he said it really, really Dodger for some reason.
Method acting.
Yeah. But they're like, oh, Peter switched the bet. And Peter's like, guys, because I didn't know it was a racehorse. I thought it was a booking for a gig. And I gave it to the Pelicans because I knew they needed the work. And Micky goes, you have a good heart, Pete. Hey, Pete, I know another band that also needs work.
Which makes you think, if he did the reasonable thing and gave themselves work, would the bet go to a horse named Monkey in this universe?
Yes.
There is
perhaps the scheme would have been discovered.
Was there?
I just wonder if there's a
horse named Pelican.
Horse parallel to every band in
the city. I think in Monkees LA that might be a true fact of life, that all the horses are named after bands and bands are named after horses.
Probably.
First of all, $10,000 is the highest amount of money that has ever been mentioned on this show, and
we
he gave it to a random band that was their friend,
right? Oh, yes, $10,000. Well, no, for the TV show one, there was more money, but that's okay.
Well, no, for the TV show, they said the number $5,000 a week. That's what they said.
Oh, was it 5,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 10,000 is the highest amount of money that has ever been mentioned on this show. And Peter threw it away too. See, like, it's not even like he gave it to the Jolly Green Giants or like a band we know are their friends.
That we've already seen. Yeah. It's the Pelicans.
They might not even be friends. It might just be some really bad band.
He just knows they needed work. And like, how did he I know he didn't think, but how did he think this was going to work? I don't know. the gangster goes, somebody in this room owes me $90,000. And then the Monkees go, oh, what are you worried about? Then quirky music starts and they pull $8.12 and like some like jacks
and dice.
Yeah, and like out of their sleeves. And it's so funny. It's amazing.
And they're like, we'll owe you the rest.
Yeah, no, it's like they were like scared, and then as soon as they were like, oh, you need $90,000, they were like, oh, of course, and they get sarcastic on them, and it is so funny.
And that was their rent for the month.
Like pulling it like out of their sleeves. Now, I know the gangsters are criminals. Why do they want money from the answering service employees that didn't know they were involved in the horse gambling operations?
Because they lost them the money.
Yeah, Peter's responsible.
But they enlisted a random citizen to do work that he.
Well, he didn't do what he was supposed to.
Yes, he didn't do what he was supposed to. Okay, they're amoral criminals.
Yeah,
we shouldn't question them that much. When they have their hands raised to avoid gunfire, like Micky and Davy are going like the normal, like you would do this, and Peter's like daintily.
So Mike shows up, and they won't let him get past to answer the phone.
Yeah.
They're blocking him, and he's like, excuse me, I need to, the phone is ringing.
He insists on pushing directly between the two gangsters' shoulders.
He could have very easily walked around either way.
Very much could.
Yeah.
And he'd rather answer the phone than stop these men with guns.
He truly DDAF. He's not concerned at all. He tries to like go back, and they're like, where do you think you're going? And he's like, the dentist. And then he shows them his teeth.
He's like, I have a cavity back
and they're
here.
Like, oh, and then he gets past them, and they're like, it's the old dentist bit. Get back here. The old dentist bit. Then Mr. and Mrs. Smith come in.
Luckily, the cop comes in, who turns out to be the guy who got the wrong message.
Oh, now
there
it
it
makes
is.
sense. So the cop ignores the hostage situation that's taking place before his eyes. He drags Davy away to like chew him out about. He's like, tell my wife you gave me the wrong message, and Davy's like, no, I didn't. It's a true message. And she starts beating on the cop again. Luckily, Davy has the good sense to stop the gangsters right before they sneak out the door, triggering a romp sequence.
Yes.
To look out, Here Comes Tomorrow, second week running.
Once again.
Which, it's my favorite Clarksville so far. You know, it's my favorite.
Yeah, it's not the worst song to get Clarksville by.
Yeah.
So they're all running in a circle with guns in their air.
With like high knees.
And Peter's holding his finger up in the air.
Yeah.
With a gun. But Mike's arms are folded because he just wanted to play.
The little like higher knee run, something about like the cop being there, and even the like hallway sequences in this one were very Magical Mystery Tour to me, but Magical Mystery Tour was not out yet. Part of that
Monkees did first.
Yeah. But the cop being there especially, because like Magical Mystery Tour has like the random army guys, and like they're just having an ensemble of weird characters. Also, probably part of that energy is the fact that Magical Mystery Tour was largely improvised, much like the romp sequences. Magical Mystery Tour is like, you took the Beatles to do a hour-long monkey romp, but the Beatles are not trained in monkey romping.
No.
No.
Really, all I remember from that one is Ringo's aunt.
Ringo's aunt. And the scene where John shovels spaghetti onto that table that we had to like physically skip because that scene is so gross that I can't watch it.
It's crazy. Yes.
Yeah. John was like, I had a dream about shoveling spaghetti onto a table last night, lads. Let's put it in the movie, and it's the grossest thing. And it goes on for like 5 minutes. Magical Mystery Tour is a mess. We're gonna do the Beatles movies eventually on the podcast, I think, and you'll see.
Okay.
Peter points to the "Be Courteous" sign to remind the guy pointing the gun at him of courtesy.
A woman in the robe keeps clocking people with her purse, but anybody who walks by. Yeah,
they shut them in the wall bed together in their bedroom couples.
Yes,
so they can have a nice romantic time in the wall.
Well,
bed together.
I have all the couples. The bed. Let's see, and Micky and Mike come out of the wall on the bed. Then Peter and Davy come out. Peter is laying on his stomach and facing the wrong direction. Cop pushed the button. 2 gangsters come out. Gangsters and the cop are pretending to row a boat on wheeled office chairs. The boys are rowing a canoe.
Yeah. When the gangsters come out, the cop reacts with like a shocked face that almost looks like, well, I didn't know you two were together. and then it comes up with like the two gangsters,
Peter and two gangs,
beating Peter up in the bed,
yeah.
And the cop is like, "Oh, I can't get with these lifestyle changes. I don't know what you guys." Like,
then there was a giant telephone.
Yeah, no, the romp is like them playing with office chairs and like boring stuff, and then boom, giant prop phone for one shot at the end to make you feel insane.
Yeah, and the phone number was 555-7231.
That they dial on the big phone.
Well, that's well, they don't dial it, but it's listed on the phone. On the phone, it says the number. You would have your number printed on the phone. Yes.
Huh.
So 555 is the common number you give out because it's not a real
fake number.
phone number.
But now they make phone numbers that have that in it.
Yeah.
But
7231. So I was wondering if I hadn't fallen asleep while I was finishing this, I probably would have looked into dialing that number.
Maybe. This reminds me of freshman year of high school when the musical director of our shows, Mr. Elefante, had to teach everyone who was in Harvey how to dial a rotary phone because none of us knew.
You also didn't know, like,
we didn't know that you had to. We didn't know how the mechanism of the like hang up worked.
Yeah.
Was the thing is like we weren't hanging it up at the right time or something, or like we weren't picking it up right.
You were like saying hello. You were like, we were like, you have to pick it up and get it to your head before you talk.
Yeah,
and then. We're like, yeah, you have to put it back on the thing. No, and that was it. You guys were dialing it before you picked up. You're like, you have to pick it up
before you dial it.
You have to pick it up.
Yeah, we didn't know, and I still don't know. Everyone in the room starts answering all the phones, switching all the hats, tangling all the wires until the bad guys are arrested. Yeah. You know, just romp until the bad guys get tied up.
And they got put under the big receiver of the phone.
Oh yeah, they got him. And then Davy goes to Mrs. Smith and he's like, Mrs. Smith, actually, I think there was a mistake and the message wasn't meant for your husband. Random character beat of Davy being a party to cheating for no reason. I like how they're like, yeah, you should let married men have their affairs and just like accept that. And that's like the message here. It's none of your business. Don't get involved in other people's affairs. Okay. And the monkeys all shake hands and mumble some gibberish and then somebody goes, "Hey, what happened to that girl?"
Oh, by the way,
what happened to the suicidal girl?
Is she still alive?
Did she make it? And then Mike goes, "Oh well, through my clever manipulation of her heartstrings and my masculinity and my persuasiveness, she." And then Dave goes, jumped out the window. Davy! And Mike's like, "No, she promised she wouldn't do anything until tomorrow," as if a promise is like legally binding or something.
And as if help. One day is good enough.
Yeah, and then Peter goes, and then she jumps out the window. Y'all are so casual about this poor woman's suicide. They're like smiling, talking about it. This as far as you know, this girl's a real suicidal ideation. Ellen is confirmed as a Mike love interest because, even though they never touch, because he says that he was hooked on her. So therefore, Mike love interest count is slowly but steadily rising to like 2. And he goes, "Well, how could I help it? She was so sad and weak and depressed and pathetic and poor." And then he says in this like kind of like suggestive way, she's like, "She was very, very poor."
What?
The thing is, she wasn't very, very poor. She was living in an apartment by herself with all sorts of furnishings and Mike, expensive suicide tools.
Also poor.
Yeah, you're much poorer than her.
So then she shows up.
Yeah, so then she shows up in a fur coat to prove that she is not very poor. And she goes, "Darling," and he goes, "Miss Farnsby." And Ellen's like, "I want to thank you, Mike." And Mike's like, "No, it's okay. I save girls' lives every day. I just jump out of bed, do calisthenics, and save girls' lives." Calisthenics. What is calisthenics?
That's the exercises, jumping jacks, toe touches,
like old people exercises. Yeah. He's clearly not doing any weight-based exercises because those skinny ass arms. And Ellen's like, "No, silly, for helping me rehearse. I was so good in the play." And Mike takes this super well. He's like not mad at all for the fact that she like pulled this crazy.
Not even relieved.
Him a stranger. No, he's not mad. He's just depressed. He's like, well, behind every dark cloud, there's usually rain.
Yeah.
I would feel certainly betrayed, maybe not quite like this. And then Peter says, "Well, at least we have something to be thankful for. Imagine what would have happened if we got involved with any of the clients." And this is so stupid that they very kindly place Peter's own hands over his eyes.
But here's the thing. It wasn't stupid. It was right.
Well,
they all got involved with the clients, and this is what happened.
Well, yeah, but he's not being sarcastic. Well, he just thinks they haven't gotten involved with the clients.
No, he was being sarcastic.
No, Mom,
Let's
he's
give Peter something.
I think, okay, TV Peter, okay. I like TV Peter as a sweet, docile, dumb creature.
I love him as a concept.
It's okay that he's dumb, because real Peter is smart.
Okay.
Okay. Monkey out, but not like that. He's okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Monkey out.
We hope you enjoyed that episode of the Monkees Pod. You can follow us on Instagram and the website formerly known as Twitter, @MonkeesPod. Boy, the way you blowing up my phone won't make me leave no faster. Put my coat on faster, leave my girls no faster. I should've left my phone at home, cause this is a disaster. Calling like a collector, sorry I cannot answer. Bye.